Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Thursday, November the 11th. We got a little three-game Thursday slate. As always guys, we're going to go game by game. We're going to talk through each game on this three-game slate, break down each team, kind of give you guys my thoughts, what does stand out to me at first look, taking a look at this slate on Wednesday night. And then as we do go through each game, we'll kind of build out an early core, five guys that I do like at first look. These are just early picks. Obviously, this is not set in stone. I say this in every video. NBA is a sport where you have to pay attention to the injury report. Guys, are going to be questionable most days. There's going to be guys you have to wait and see if they're in or out. You have to wait and see what starting lineups are. NBA is a very news-driven sport. So if you want more updated content from me, after we get news, after we get starting lineups, I do provide updated core plays on Patreon. I provide a lot more updated content over there. You can get access to our Discord chat as well, where you can ask me questions anytime, up until lock, even after lock. I'm in Discord answering any questions you guys have. So if you enjoy these first look videos, you want to see more content I do have to offer, you can check out Patreon, link down below in the description. Also, check out the sponsor of the video, Prize Picks. They're also linked down in the description. Or just whenever you sign up for Prize Picks, be sure to use promo code NOAH. And they will match your first deposit up to $100. Prize Picks is more of a player prop based DFS site. So you're basically just picking the over or the under on the projections they have listed for for all their players. They don't have anything posted yet for Thursday's NBA games. I'm sure they'll get those posted sometime Thursday morning. But they already have stuff up for Thursday Night Football. They got college basketball, college football, PGA. They have every sport on Prize Picks. It's very simple. You look at their projections, you see what you like, and you go over or under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 extra money over on Prize Picks. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 5 picks and win up to 10 extra money. So if you want to check them out, if you're interested, or if you are interested in Prize Picks, sign up, use promo code NOAH, and they will match your first deposit up to $100. Basically, they will double whatever your first deposit is up to $100. So check them out, guys. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at Thursday's little three-game slate. We're going to start off with the Raptors and Sixers game. So looking at the Raptors side with Toronto here, Pascal Siakam, he did play on Wednesday, but they've already come out and said that he is unlikely to play given it's a back-to-back. So I am expecting Siakam to be out today, which is actually pretty important because Siakam is a high-usage player. When he's healthy, he's going to play big minutes. So far, he's kind of been eased back, but he does take up a lot of usage. So without Siakam, that's going to benefit guys like Van Vliet, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, even Gary Trent maybe gets a little bit more usage. I think most of these Raptors are definitely in play. Now, I will say that at their price points, none of them stand at. We'll talk about Scotty Barnes, but like OG, Van Vliet, they both feel priced about right. Like Van Vliet's 8,400. I mean, Fred Van Vliet can put up 50 DraftKings points here and have a good game. I think his ceiling does increase with Siakam off the floor. So, Van Vliet's definitely in play, but not like a top option for me on this slate. And then OG Anunoby at 7,600 again. He has a 45, 50 point ceiling. He can go for 50 DraftKings points any night. But on this slate at 7,600, I think he's priced, probably where he should be. Scotty Barnes, though, is the guy that I do like. I think is a little bit too cheap, 6,600. He definitely benefits without Siakam. All these guys do for the most part. Scotty Barnes, though, he's been great this year. He's been producing a pretty high level. He's been averaging around a fantasy point per minute, and he's been playing big minutes as well. He's been getting 35, 36, 37 minutes in competitive games. I think his minutes are going to be even higher with Siakam out here. His 6,600, I definitely like Scotty Barnes. He might be one of my favorite plays from this Raptors team. I think he's a little bit too cheap on DraftKings. I think on Yahoo, he looks pretty good over there as well at the power forward position. Scotty Barnes only $25. Definitely like him over on Yahoo. We will talk about Tobias Harris in a second. I think if Tobias Harris winds up playing today, Tobias Harris will be a really good option as well. You could play him at $31. We'll talk about that in a minute, though. But Scotty Barnes, I do like, especially with Siakam, unlikely to play today. I think Scotty Barnes does benefit. Really, all these guys do, but especially Scotty Barnes. And then Gary Trent at 5K. He feels priced about right for what we can expect from Gary Trent. He's going to play pretty big minutes. He's a scoring-dependent player, so if he's not really knocking down shots, he's not going to do much outside of that. He's not really going to get rebounds. He's not going to get me an assist. At 5K, I think he's priced probably where he should be, but he's going to play big minutes, and on a 3-game slate, anyone that's going to play 35, 36 minutes, they are going to be in play. So Gary Trent is obviously in play today. But my second favorite play from Toronto has got to be Precious Achiuwa. So Precious Achiuwa is only 4,200 on DraftKings. I think he's one of the better values, and he's super cheap on Yahoo as well, $14 over there. So we already know that Siakam is unlikely to play And Keem Birch is also out for this game, which is really, really important. Keem Birch will not play Wednesday or Thursday, what was reported. So basically, they're going to be without Siakam and they're going to be without Keem Birch. So basically, they're going to be without their starting center and one of their, other bench guys that get center minutes. So that's going to leave Precious Achiuwa to really get all the center minutes here. He did play 25 minutes off the bench against Boston on Wednesday, and that was with Siakam playing. Now you take Siakam out of the equation, I think we're going to get, Precious Achiuwa probably playing 34, 35 minutes. We saw for a little bit during the season that he was kind of losing minutes to Keem Birch, but now with Keem Birch out as well, I just don't see a scenario where they don't play him big minutes because they really have no one else to give the minutes to. I mean, Chris Boucher probably gets some run. I think at 3,200, Chris Boucher is a really good punt play. Chris Boucher has been just in and out of the rotation all season, but he's going to have to play some minutes here. He's one of these guys that when he gets on the floor, he can really produce from a fantasy point per minute level. He can average way over a fantasy point per minute. I definitely like him as a riskier punt play, but I think Achiuwa plays a ton of minutes, and at 4,200, he is a really, really good value on the slate. He's definitely underpriced for Siakam and Birch both being out. But that's really it for the Raptors. I think that basically does it for this team. Now on the Sixers side, looking at Philly, Joel Embiid's going to remain out. Ben Simmons going to remain out. But we could get some guys back from Philly today. We know Philly's been really depleted lately. But Tobias Harris is questionable. He could maybe return today. Seth Curry was out last game. He's questionable once again for this one. And then that's really all that we're waiting on so far. But Tobias Harris potentially coming back is really, really big because Tobias Harris is obviously one of the best players on the 76ers team. He is a high-usage player as well. He's a guy that's going to take a lot of shots. He's going to just soak up a lot of usage. So him coming back, if he were to play today, that's going to take away from guys like Tyrese Maxey, Shake Milton. It's going to take some minutes away from some other guys too, like Niang probably loses minutes. Some of these guards maybe don't play as many minutes. So we really just got to wait and see if Harris plays or not. If Harris plays today, that's going to just kind of take me off most of the Sixers. I think the guards I would pretty much be off of. So Maxey, Curry, Milton, I'm just off of them. Court Miles I probably would be off of as well because all these guys, have been priced up for when Embiid and Harris were out. Now if Harris comes back, you don't really want to pay almost $7K for Maxey. You don't really want to pay $6K for Seth Curry. But Drummond, I think, is still someone we can pay up for. Drummond at 8,600. His price tag is also really starting to get up there. He's almost 9K now. But we've seen it. He's made 3 starts this year for Embiid. 56 DraftKings points, played 34 minutes. Last 2 games, 38 minutes, 33 minutes, 52, and 51 DraftKings points. So he has put up at least 50 DraftKings points in all 3 games he has started this season. He's played at least 33 minutes in all 3 of those games as well. He's going to play 32, 34 minutes most likely. He's a very productive player when he's on the floor. Drummond, we know, is going to stuff the stat sheet. At 8,600, he's not just like this slam dunk free square like he kind of has been lately, but he's still a good play. I think he's still a really good pay-up option. Although on this slate, we do have good value at center with Precious Achiuwa. We have another good center play in Bam Adebayo, who we're going to talk about. But Drummond, I think, is a good option for sure. I think if Tobias Harris comes back, that probably won't affect Drummond too much because Drummond gets most of his damage done, on the glass, around the rim. He's not really going to create his own shot. So I think Drummond would still be fine. He'd still be a good play if Harris returns. But if Harris comes back, yeah, I'm off of all these guys. Maxey, Curry, Milton, I'm just off of all of them. They're all just too expensive. But if Tobias Harris remains out, then I think we could play some of these guys. Now, Maxey's almost 7K. I don't know if I'd be paying that price tag for Maxey. You're going to really need him to put up a big game to pay off this price tag. But, the last 2 games, he's been playing massive minutes. He's put up 42 DK points in 2 straight games, or at least 42 DK points. We did see Doc Rivers say that he was going to, extend the rotation a little bit last game. He was going to play more guys. He wasn't going to give so many minutes to some of his other guys, and he just straight up lied. I mean, he played Maxey 39 minutes once again. I guess Maxey's just going to keep playing these massive minutes until, the Philly starts to get healthy again. Maybe if Harris comes back today, they don't play Maxey as many minutes, but he's still fine. Curry, I'm kind of off of, though. Milton, I'm probably off of as well at his price point. It's got to be a wait and see, man. It's so hard to really break down the Sixers team until we know if Tobias Harris is going to return. Because if he does, that's going to take me off most of these guys, except probably Drummond. But yeah, we can move on to the next game, I think, talk about the Pacers and the Jazz. So looking at the Pacers today, this is a back-to-back for the Pacers. We are going to need to keep an eye on the injury report, especially because Karis LeVert was ruled out Wednesday with a back injury. I'm guessing they just ruled him out because it was a back-to-back and they wanted to sit him one of the 2 games. I'm expecting LeVert to play today. So if LeVert does come back and play today, that's going to definitely take away from guys like Sabonis, Brogdon, T.J. McConnell, Duarte. The matchup on the road against Utah is not ideal. This is definitely, probably one of the worst spots you can get is having to go on the road to play Utah. But obviously these guys still have upside. I mean, Sabonis had a really big game Wednesday night, 33 minutes, 51 DK points against Denver. Brogdon had a really good game as well, 46 DK points, 35 minutes played for him. Brogdon's been dealing with an illness, so keep an eye on the injury report again. He could maybe be out because it's a back-to-back. But if everyone's in here from Indiana, man, even on a 3-game slate, I'm not really that thrilled to roster many Pacers here. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these guys do well, but it seems pretty unlikely given the matchup and given how these guys are priced as well. Brogdon's 8,500, he was 7,600 or 7,500 on Wednesday, and now he's up $1,000. So I'm just not as high on him. I think Sabonis is still fine. Sabonis was 10,000 something on Wednesday slate, and now his price has come down to 9,100. So he might be my favorite play from this Pacers team, but I'm not really that thrilled to roster any of these Pacers guys. And on the Utah side, there's not much I like from Utah either. This is definitely the least appealing game on the slate. Of these 3 games, this is by far the game I have the least amount of interest in. Utah is always a team that, when they're fully healthy, I just gotta hate rostering these guys. It's just so hard to predict when you're gonna get that big Donovan Mitchell game. He's been really inconsistent this season. We still have seen a big ceiling from him. He has some games, 52, 58 DK points, but he's got a low floor too, especially for a 9K player. I mean, you'll get 30, 35 DK points from Donovan Mitchell sometimes, which obviously at 9K, I mean, that's just terrible. So Mitchell's a riskier pay-up option. I don't think he's going to be a stud I prioritize today. I would definitely rather play Paul George. I'd rather play these Miami guys that we're going to talk about. So don't really like Mitchell that much at his price. Same with Gobert at 8K. I think I'd rather play Drummond over Gobert if I'm going to pay up at center. Gobert has shown a pretty big ceiling this year as well. He's going to play massive minutes if it's a close game. I do like the matchup against Indiana. They're going to need Gobert out there as much as possible going up against Sabonis and Turner. So I guess Gobert's fine at 8K. Again, I think I'd rather play Drummond. Probably would rather save salary and play Bam Adebayo as well, who we're going to talk about. But Gobert's definitely playable. Mike Conley as a mid-range point guard option. I mean, on a 3-game slate, Mike Conley's totally fine. Rarely do I roster Mike Conley, especially when Mitchell and Clarkson and everyone's healthy. But Conley on a 3-game slate is, playable. Bogdanovich, Clarkson, Ingles, I don't really like any of these guys that much. Bogdanovich is going to play probably 30, 32 minutes. He's a scoring-dependent player. He doesn't really have much of a ceiling. I don't think I'm going to go to him or really have much exposure to him. Jordan Clarkson, I guess I could see playing just because he does have a pretty big ceiling. He is one of these guys that, when he gets hot, he'll just keep taking shots. He'll keep chucking. He'll have some bad shooting games for sure where he just can't make a shot. But when he does get hot, I mean, you can see 35, 40 DK point games from Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson is one of these guys that I really never play. Only time I ever play him is when Mitchell or Conley are out. When one of those two are out, that's when I play Clarkson. I don't really play him any other time though. But on a 3-game slate with a limited player pool, yeah, Clarkson's fine. Ingles, not really. Royce O'Neal I thought was in play last on Tuesday because it was a 3-game slate then. He played 33 minutes. He scored 23 DK points. He's another guy that, his ceiling is just not that high. He's not a very good fantasy producer. He's going to play a ton of minutes, but he's not going to really do much except maybe shoot a couple threes. You got to hope that he grabs 7 or 8 rebounds. You got to hope he gets some assists. You got to hope he gets a couple steals. He's not really going to put up a... Royce O'Neal is rarely a guy that's going to put up a score that you have to have. I'll say that. It's very unlikely that he goes out there and just puts up a score that you have to win a GPP. He's usually one of these guys that even on a short slate, I'm just fine, not really having that much exposure to. I could see, obviously he would be in my player pool. If I was playing 150 lineups on a 3-game slate, yeah, I would have Royce O'Neal in my player pool, but he is not going to be a core part of my lineups or a core part of my night. My favorite play from Utah is probably Gobert and Conley, but I really don't like much from this team either, to be honest with you. So that does it for this game. And then last one on the night, Miami and LA. So this is definitely the game to focus on, especially on the Miami side. So Miami could be coming into this game pretty injury depleted. They are on a back-to-back here. They played the Lakers Wednesday night in Staples Center, and the game went to overtime. You saw massive minutes for Kyle Lowry, massive minutes for Tyler Hero. Bam Adebayo played big minutes as well. He would have played more, but he was in foul trouble. They're having to play in LA again against the Clippers this time. So it's a back-to-back for Miami, but they're not going to have to travel or anything. But we're going to have to keep an eye on the injury report because Jimmy Butler, I think he sprained his ankle in Wednesday's game and he did not return. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that Jimmy Butler does not play today. Normally, if you sprain your ankle, you're not going to be able to play the next day. Normally, when a guy gets injured and does not return into it, like in a game, and then they have to play the next day, I just always assume that player is going to be out. So I'm expecting Jimmy Butler to be out today for Miami, which is really huge. I mean, Jimmy Butler is a high usage player. He plays big minutes. Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, I mean, these guys are just fantastic plays today. And on a 3-game slate, man, it is going to be so hard to avoid these guys. If Butler's out, I think every lineup I would be making today would probably have at least 2 of these 3, if not all three of these guys. Like, I could definitely see just going all in on Bam, all in on Lowry, and all in on Hero. They're going to be the best plays on the slate if Butler's out, which I'm assuming is going to be the case. So I like him a lot on DK. Lowry, $23 on Yahoo, love it. Hero, $23, love that. Bam's only $33. I think he's a great option as well. Like this entire offense is going to run through these 3 guys. I mean, Bam's going to just dominate the usage. He's going to play big minutes. Even though he was in foul trouble against the Lakers on Wednesday night, he still put up a massive game, had 58 DraftKings points. Kyle Lowry did really well, had 44 DK points. He played 47 minutes in that overtime game. Tyler Hero had a big second half, put up 37 DK points, played 42 minutes. Like, all 3 of these guys look like great plays today. I mean, this season, without Jimmy Butler, it's a small sample size, but Hero's played 113 minutes without Jimmy Butler. Average over fantasy point per minute, has a 28% usage rate. Bam Adebayo's played 56 minutes without Jimmy this year, 30% usage rate, averaging 1.43 fantasy points per minute. Lowry's numbers are not that great. He's only he has averaged 1 fantasy point per minute, but he only has a 14% usage rate. But I assume, as Lowry plays more without Butler, we're going to see those numbers, rise. And Lowry kind of started off the season really, really slowly. He started off the season really bad, but he's been playing a lot better lately. He's been, producing, getting rebounds, getting assists, had a triple-double the other night against Utah. Yeah, I think all these guys are great plays today. If we're assuming Jimmy Butler's going to be out, it's going to be hard to not have a lot of interest in Lowry, Hero, and Bam, just because I expect those 3 guys, just the entire offense is going to run through those 3 guys. Duncan Robinson should get some more opportunity. Duncan Robinson is one of these guys I rarely play, but I think without Jimmy Butler, there will be more opportunity for Duncan Robinson to get some shots up. He did take 16 shots in Wednesday's game against the Lakers. He didn't shoot the ball that well, but still put up 33 DK points. I think at 3,800, we haven't really talked about many guys that are below 4K. There really isn't a ton of, cheap value on this slate. I think Duncan Robinson is in play, and I haven't played Duncan Robinson at all this season. But if Jimmy Butler's out, I think that's just going to benefit everyone, and Duncan Robinson would definitely get a slight boost at 3,800. He would for sure be in play. But there's nobody else from the Miami I would be going to. PJ Tucker, he had a good game as well. Played 38 minutes, had 31 DK points, but 3,100, he's so cheap that I think it's fine. But yeah, I don't think you're going to need to go that cheap on this slate because a lot of the good plays today are in the mid-range. Lowry, Bam, Hero. There's not a ton of studs. You have like PG, who we're going to talk about. You've got Sabonis, but I don't think this is a slate where you really need to be playing guys like PJ Tucker, just because you can get so many good plays in the mid-range, so many guys in the mid-range that project really well that you don't have to play these super, super cheap guys that you're hoping you get like 25 from. So even though Tucker may benefit without Jimmy Butler, I doubt I really have much exposure to him at 3,100, but definitely Lowry, Bam, Hero, love all 3 of those guys. I think Duncan Robinson's a pretty good value as well. And that's it from Miami for me. I don't think I'm really going to anyone else. But yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on the Jimmy Butler status. For now, I'm assuming he's out. Obviously keep an eye on it, though. That'll definitely be something we have to monitor Thursday. We'll talk about the Clippers real quick before we do end the video. So looking at the Clippers side, obviously not nearly as much interest in this team as I do in Miami. But Paul George, 10,200, most expensive player on the slate. Paul George, he's been a great stud option this year. He's shown a lot of upside, shown a very high floor, playing massive minutes every night. The matchup against Miami is probably not the best. Miami, really good defensively. They play at a really slow pace. But if they are missing Jimmy Butler for this game, that will definitely make their defense a little bit worse. I'm sure PJ Tucker will probably be on Paul George a lot, but Paul George is matchup proof. I think he's going to get so much usage, so much opportunity in this Clippers offense while Kawhi is still out. So yeah, PG's a great play. I'm not going to be prioritizing PG. I'm going to be prioritizing getting in these Miami guys. But if I can fit PG with them, I think that's definitely something you could for sure be looking to do. Then Reggie Jackson, is a mid-range guard option. he's fine. I would greatly prefer Lowry. I would greatly prefer Hero. But Reggie Jackson, he's going to play probably 33, 34 minutes. He's 6,400. He feels priced about right. But, Reggie Jackson does have a ceiling if he can get hot. He's pretty score independent, but he does take a lot of shots. If he can, get hot from the floor, you can see games where he goes for like 35, 40, 50 DK points like he did against Minnesota. So he's firmly in play on a 3-game slate. Nicholas Batum going to continue to play around 30 minutes a night while Marcus Morris is out. Nicholas Batum is not a player I really like to roster that much, but he has shown some upside lately, and he has shown some consistency as well. At least 26 DraftKings points in 5 straight games. He's got at least 33 DK points in 4 of his last 5. He's been paying off his price tag. Again, Batum is usually, or at least in the past, he has not been a very great point per minute player. But if he's going to play 30 minutes for 5,300, firmly in play on a 3-game slate. Same could be said for a guy like Terrence Mann, who's going to come off the bench, play around 30 minutes. Terrence Mann has been super, super inconsistent this season, but he's going to get minutes. He's 4,800. He's a fine option, but not like a standout play for me. Ivica Zubac I kind of like as a lower-owned center play. I think Bam's going to get a lot of ownership at center, assuming Jimmy's out. I think Precious Achiuwa will be a really popular value play. Obviously, I like Achiuwa a lot, but Zubac I definitely have interest in too. We already got news that Serge Ibaka was sent down to the G League, so Serge Ibaka came back and now he's out again. So without Serge Ibaka, I think that does solidify the minutes for Zubac. He's already been getting pretty consistent minutes though. Last 4 games he's played at least 24 minutes. The matchup against Bam is not really that great, but they're going to need him out there against Bam because they don't really have any other guys with a ton of size. I mean, they have Isaiah Hartenstein, but I don't think they want Hartenstein out there. So I expect Zubac plays close to 30 minutes, and at 5,100, yeah, I'm definitely interested in Zubac on this slate, especially if he gets a little bit lower ownership than some of these other center plays we have talked about. And then last guy I'll mention will be Eric Bledsoe for 4,700. Bledsoe, we saw his minutes kind of trending down for a while. He was playing like low 20s, but last game he did get up to 31 minutes. He did have a good game, scored 31 DK points. I don't know if these minutes continue for Bledsoe. I feel like his minutes are definitely going to fluctuate depending on how he's playing. But if he is playing well, he'll get 30, 32 minutes. If he's not playing well, maybe he only plays like 23, 24. He's 4,700 though. He is pretty cheap. I don't love playing Eric Bledsoe. I think he's another guy that really just doesn't offer a ton of upside. But if you're looking for a cheap guard option on a 3-game slate, he is firmly in play for me. Kennard is fine, but I don't love him. Like, he's going to come off the bench, play like mid-20s minutes. He's super score independent. Usually he's a guy that I just kind of like fade and hope he doesn't catch fire from the field, because if he doesn't score, if he doesn't get hot, he's going to do nothing because he doesn't really chip in with anything else except scoring. So I'm kind of fine fading him even on a short slate like this. But yeah, guys, that's it for the Clippers, and that's it for these 3 games for Thursday night. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed, please do hit the like button before you get out of here, guys. Please hit that subscribe button as well if you have not yet. And check out the sponsor of the video, Prize Picks. Sign up for Prize Picks. Check out everything they have to offer. Use promo code NOAH when you do sign up for Prize Picks. They will match your first deposit up to $100. Basically, whatever you deposit, they will double it up to $100 when you sign up with code NOAH. So check them out, guys. Like the video. Hit the subscribe button as well. And I think that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Best of luck tonight on this slate, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.